Hello, my name is Faisal. I'm the Marketing and Communications Assistant at Cobalt HR. Given these unprecedented times that I'm sure we're all experiencing, I imagine that many of you, much like ourselves at Cobalt HR, are working from home. Therefore, myself and my colleague Boris are going to detail some short best practices and tips for effective home working and optimizing your efficiency.
Thanks, Faisal. Now let's discuss the two main steps involved in the process of home working. The first is the transition. Normally, you would already have a policy on home working, be it in your employee handbook or even in your contract, which sets out specific practices and procedures which you must follow in these situations. These can serve as an excellent starting point in establishing a working routine both for yourself and for your fellow team members. Also, although you may be working from home, you would still have to be accessible by your fellow employees and managers. So make sure that they can reach you via email, mobile phone, Skype, Zoom, Slack, or any other platform which you have decided on. And to make sure that you're in sync with your workforce on these and other matters, set up a meeting with your line managers. Discuss issues such as supervision, monitoring, presenting your results at the end of the day. And during these meetings, you can also discuss any particular hardware, any particular equipment, be it hardware or software, which you may need whilst working from home so that this can be provided to you. And finally, during this transition, support your colleagues, particularly those which are finding it difficult to shift their working practices. In doing so, you ensure that your workforce is up and ready to work from home. The second step of home working is the maintenance of this transition. Now, once you've established a working agenda, you must adhere to it at all times. Consistency is key in the present circumstances. And in doing so, you ensure that the transition to home working has not and does not disrupt the workflow of your company. Adapt to these and other working conditions. Be open to change. This allows you to feel more comfortable. It also makes sure that you are less intimidated by this transition and by the prospect of home working. This constitutes a learning process. Therefore, make sure to exchange insights and feedback between yourself and your colleagues and managers. This will help you in applying necessary improvements so that at the end of the day, the work cycle of the company is not disrupted, that you are still an effective worker, albeit working from home, and that the processes in place are straightforward and clear to all. And finally, maintain flexibility. Be open to the new experiences which you will go through. Now that we've looked at the two main steps of the process of home working, Faisal and myself will present you with some handy tips and tricks which you should follow to ensure that you are at your best when working from home.
So, we will underline and explain 3 distinct factors that you should consider while working from the comfort of your home. The first is clarity, which I will discuss in the next slide. The second is maintaining regular communication within your team. Boris will discuss this. And the third point is management, which is primarily focused on yourself and your work environment. So when we say clarity, what do we mean? Well, clarity is about making sure everyone in the team is on the same page with regard to missions and values, for example, in the long term, but also making sure you stay on track and fully understanding the short-term goals and deadlines set by line managers and directors. So clarity is essential when you're working from home because you lose that ability for quick discussions and in-person liaison, which I'm sure is far easier to do in the workspace. So having clear work objectives and timeframes is essential for working towards your targets as well. At home, it could be useful to write these targets up in a checklist format and put them on the wall in front of you or somewhere that is easily accessible. Our team, in our instance, we use a project management website called Asana. It is a useful tool in assigning tasks to team members with well-specified deadlines, and that means that as soon as we finish a task, we can get rid of it and move on to the next one. So clarity is all about singing from the same hymn sheet, which links nicely onto communication. Boris will now talk you through.
Thanks, Faisal. Now, in the present circumstances, communication is key. And with your newly established working agenda, you will most likely be required to use a particular online communications tool. Examples include Zoom, Microsoft Teams, or Slack. If you're charged with the implementation of these tools in your company, make sure to set out clear guidelines for everyone in your team to follow. Instruct your colleagues on how to navigate these tools so that you can mitigate the lack of physical contact within your team. Familiarize yourself with these tools. Learn to use functions such as mute, video calls, video sharing, messages, peer-to-peer software. So for example, if you are using Google Docs, you can enable everyone in your team to work on or edit files and working materials simultaneously. In doing so, you will become proficient with these tools, and you will then add these to your professional records. And also get comfortable with some of the intricacies and difficulties which may arise out of online communication. Yes, Wi-Fi connections are fragile. And yes, if you use Zoom, sometimes you will experience glitches, or you may even be accidentally kicked out of the meeting which you're having with your fellow team members. Not to worry. Make sure that you cope with these, that you learn from these so that you can avoid these. You're working from home. Therefore, I would suggest that you change your workstation so that it's closer to your internet router so that you can avoid any unnecessary glitches or bugs. And also, get comfortable with those little awkward moments of silence when having a team meeting. Yes, at first you may feel uncomfortable, but you can view these as very short break snippets in which you can take a deep breath, you can collect your thoughts, and you can move on to the next set of objectives in your working agenda. And finally, be consistent in your communication. Make sure that you stick to the one communications tool which works best for your team.
Thanks for that, Boris. So the two aspects we have already discussed deal with maintaining a link within the team. However, it is arguably more important that you know how to manage yourself to produce the highest quality work that you can do. So while working from home, there is the benefit of saving time to travel to work, which could allow more time to get ready in the morning and stick to a somewhat easier routine. Take care of yourself and manage yourself a bit easier. So the key to self-management is to construct a similar work environment to that of your workplace. By sticking to working hours, you'll maintain consistency, as Boris said was very important, establish a routine, and also balance your work and your life. So at the end of your working day, you can just go and, spend time with your family and friends. So prioritizing work in order of importance is another good practice to manage yourself well. So by completing tasks one at a time, you avoid mixing tasks and keep your priorities well defined. The physical workspace has huge mental implications on your work efficiency and output. Sitting at an untidy desk with millions of piles of paper in front of you will jumble your work as well as your mind. And to have a clear mind is essential in maintaining good, consistent, efficient work output. So ensure you're sitting at a clear desk. And also another thing that is very underrated is your seating. Make sure you have a good steady seating to support your posture. So it's good to have a routine when you're working from home because it can be monotonous at times. But we can adjust it and work with that to make it not so. You shouldn't be glued to your screen all day. It's important to take regular screen breaks and get up from your desk every once in a while to move around, just as you would in the office. So distancing yourself from distractions is paramount in producing high quality work. Avoid TV, pop out to the garden or to a nearby park if you can, for a few minutes every now and again, just to get some fresh air and recharge your batteries. Over to you, Boris.
Thank you once again, Faisal. And with this, we come to the conclusion of today's session. Follow these simple procedures and you will be one step closer to establishing an effective and straightforward home working agenda that works for everyone in your workforce. If you have any thoughts or questions, please make sure to leave these in the comment section below this video. If you like to see more from us, then head to our channel on YouTube. That's youtube.com/CobaltHR. And also make sure to follow us on Facebook and LinkedIn. That's Cobalt HR. But with this, we wish you good luck. Stay safe, stay healthy, and until next time.